It's day 5 of the 7-day gut, and today we're going to continue our conversation about the food that we choose to put in our body. We want to choose food that accelerates our healing, not that accelerates our illness. So our step toward gut health for day 5 is to eliminate ultra-processed food from your diet. Now, processed food is kind of a vague, broad term. Not all processed food is equally bad. So for example, a Little Debbie snack versus frozen vegetables. They're both processed to some degree, but in terms of what they can accomplish in our bodies, they're not even on the same playing field. So what are we specifically talking about when we encourage you to eliminate ultra-processed food from your diet? Ultra-processed foods typically look nothing like the foods from which they were made, and they have really long ingredient lists, including ingredients that sound like they belong in a lab and not in your kitchen, okay? They're basically empty food, meaning that they have little to no nutrition that will support the healing of your body. And in fact, ultra-processed food is so full of ingredients that your body recognizes as toxic that your body will be working overtime to be getting rid of that junk instead of being able to focus its energy on healing the parts of your body that need it most. And we're specifically referring to your gut. So don't hate me because I may talk about some of your favorite foods, but let's look at some examples of what ultra-processed food might look like. So we're talking about pre-packaged frozen meals like microwave dinners, ramen noodles, boxed cakes and cookies like Oreos, boxed cake mixes, heavily processed meats like hot dogs and bologna, salty snacks that are full of artificial dyes and flavors like Doritos or Cheetos, dairy products that are so processed that they can't even be called cheese on the label. So we're talking like Velveeta or American Singles. Cereals that are bright, insane, unnatural colors and flavors, fruit snacks, candy bars, sugary drinks like soda or fake juices like Sunny D, yogurts and puddings that are full of artificial flavors and colors. I think you're probably starting to get the idea, okay? Turn those packages over and you'll find the characteristics of ultra-processed foods. You'll see a long ingredient list. You'll see ingredients that you probably can't even pronounce because they sound like they belong in a lab and not in your kitchen. Loads of sugar, loads of food dye, like red dye number this and yellow dye number that, okay? It's just not real food, and it's gonna set us back in our pursuit of gut health. Ultra-processed food not only bogs our bodies down with junk, but it also starves that healthy bacteria in our gut. Now, as you're working to eliminate these foods from your diet, here are a few pointers because ultra-processed foods are wildly addicting. And if these foods have been a major part of your diet, going cold turkey and eliminating them may not be the best idea. Withdrawal is a real thing. So here are 4 pointers for you. Number 1, make changes gradually. Now, I don't want you to use this as an excuse and say, a nurse told me that I can make slow changes and then still be eating these foods a year from now, okay? It's not what I'm saying. But if you make consistent, gradual changes, you will have a better chance of sticking to them than if you try to make everything change all at once. Number 2, don't go shopping without a grocery list or a full stomach. A list helps to keep you on track, and a full stomach will hopefully help you not to be so tempted by the ultra-processed food that you may pass in the store. Number 3, shop the perimeter of the store as much as possible. Have you heard this before? Because it's genius. Have you ever noticed that the majority of processed food is on the shelves in the middle of the store? So if at all possible, stick to the perimeter and hopefully you'll decrease your chances of running into so many ultra-processed foods and being tempted to throw them in your cart. Number 4, read your labels. Food manufacturers know that people are starting to wake up to the dangers of ultra-processed food. So it's not uncommon for them to put something on the front of a package to lead you to believe that it's at least a somewhat nutritious product, okay? We're smarter than that. We can turn that package over and look for those characteristics of ultra-processed food. Does it have a long ingredient list? Does it have ingredients that you can hardly even pronounce? Does it have loads of sugar and names of sugar, okay? Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose. We have a lot of names for sugar. Do you see food dyes like red dye and yellow dye? These are all big red flags letting you know that this is an ultra-processed food and therefore one you should probably avoid. So let's wrap this up. Stephen and I always encourage each other to strive for progress and not perfection, and we want to encourage you to do the same. Don't expect yourself to be perfect in the food department by next week. That kind of dramatic change is rarely sustainable. Start setting small goals and systematically knocking them out. And because Stephen and I have lived and experienced it, we can tell you with 100% confidence that if you focus on making consistent progress in eliminating processed food from your diet, in a year, you are hardly going to recognize the person that you've become. And I'm telling you, your gut will thank you.